Rocket launcher.
Metal Slug is a classic run-and-gun arcade game released on April 19, 1996 by a video game company named NASCAR Corporation. They will later then be bought by SNK to create future Metal Slug titles. But some stuff happened about bankruptcy with SNK to then be changed to SNK Playmore. And I really do not want to get into that type of stuff, but my point is that the last Metal Slug game to be worked on by the original creators was Metal Slug 3. And so the focus of this video will be on Metal Slug 1, X, and 3. Not 2 because X is basically just 3, but an updated version of it. Now I know you must be asking yourself this. What makes Metal Slug unique in comparison to other running guns? And to that I say how it incorporates art style and gameplay together. Good example to compare this to is Contra. First off, Contra is such a simple game. Run right, shoot bad guy, don't get hit, take up the occasional power up. The simplicity mixed with the military theme of the games makes Contra hold up today as fun and challenging game. Even later games carry on this generic military sci-fi art style. So my point being isn't that Contra is bad because it looks too bland or that it doesn't have a unique art style. My point is that what carries the series is its gameplay, pure and simple. On the other hand, you got a game like Cuphead, which is most notable for its unique art style. Everything you see was hand-drawn and recorded for the sake of making the game feel and look like a cartoon from the early 1900s by using the same techniques that they used back then. And this helps the game build character through simply its art style. And that's what helps it stand out from the rest of the competition of running gun games. Now that I have told you the importance about art style and gameplay in running guns, let's move on to what makes Metal Slug unique. Metal Slug uses both the art style and gameplay to its full advantage to stand out. First off, the art style of the game is comical and detailed at the same time. Each sprite has immense detail to it, and seeing a bunch of stuff going on the screen at once makes the game look very fluid and not stiff. Each level also has these very detailed backgrounds to really help make the background stand out from the actual gameplay, and it looks amazing. But at the same time, he has these goofy looking tanks, over exaggerated facial expressions, and weird enemy designs that really add on to the game's comical approach and its art style. This now leads to gameplay. You start off each level with a pistol and 10 grenades, which are very powerful and worth saving towards the boss at the end of each level. But more on that later. You have to get to point A to point B like in any other running gun, with the occasional stopping in place to defeat your enemies that block your path. The environments you go through in each level ranges from a military outpost to the streets of New York. Oh yeah, and space. The main enemies in each game are the rebel soldiers, and you will see these guys a lot. They die very quickly, but they also vary in what they do, which is a bit of a complaint I have. They throw grenades, jump to knife you, and throw rolling balls and little rockets. The only indication that you get on what attack they do is to see them do it, which kinda sucks. But eventually you get used to it, which is very unfortunate. Also, a nice little detail is that when you die, they stand there and laugh at you. And of course, when you respawn, they jump back and do whatever the heck they were doing. Which is just a nice detail to have, because it really emphasizes the comedic nature of this game. You also fight heavy enemies, like tanks, helicopters, Visting, and aliens. But to put it simple, you are practically fighting giant machines and giant creatures. There are a lot of moments in the game where they combine both light and heavy enemies to then just fill the screen with as much as they could possibly throw at you, leaving you no space to breathe, and the screen just gets filled with projectiles. If all you have during these parts is a pistol and no bombs, then good luck, because you're going to have to mash that button as much as possible and also dodge a bunch of stuff. So just trust me when I say that this happens a lot and the game can feel outright sadistic, giving you no chance to breathe. Just a quick side note, god damn, the amount of people you kill in these games just make you wonder if Marco's a psychopath. No human being can keep that smile while brutally wiping out an entire enemy camp. Along each level there will always be prisoners you can rescue that either drops weapons, bombs, or just point items, which are just seen as garbage because they don't really help you that much. Aside from your standard prisoner, you could also find support people, like the president, this guy that Hadoukens the shit out of people, and Utan, which is a monkey with a gun, and he picks his boogers. That's awesome. But back to the topic about the guns. You got the heavy machine gun, shotgun, flame shot, laser gun, rocket launcher, enemy chaser, drop shot, and my favorite being the iron lizard because it's just a little face on it and I think that's pretty cool. Also, most guns have a big variant which simply just shoots a bigger version of the projectile. Oh yeah, almost forgot to mention that you also have a little melee attack that you use if you get close to an enemy. So yeah, it's very helpful. Aside from your standard crate of bombs, there's also variants to what you can throw, such as the rock and the Molotov, which are the only other variants, but you know, that's still pretty cool. The Molotov, well, does what a Molotov does, burns enemies. And the rock is just a rock, and you could kill people with it, with a single smack, and makes a funny sound. You will lose both your weapon and the amount of bombs you have if you were to die. And so, when you die and respawn, you'll get your pistol back and 10 bombs. It is always recommended to save as much bombs as possible for the boss at the end of each level because it makes it way easier to get through and not a tassel of just spamming it with your pistol. And finally, we move on to the slugs. A powerful tank that takes 3 hits to blow up, attached to 2 machine guns and a cannon. And if you crouch in it, you can also throw your bombs, which is very helpful. Throughout each level, there will always be a slug or at least a variant, such as the slug camel, slugnoid, slug mariner, and so on. Each having the unique twist to them, which makes them stand out from each other. And now on to the boss fights. You have an entire level building up to this moment. Every boss in the game is meant to not just look, but also feel unique. Every boss excluding the first one from each game has a lot of health, and it's worth saving the items that you get from the level to be used against them because they take a lot of damage to die, and they also have more than one phase. They start off slow, and don't really do much attacks, but once you've done enough damage to them, then they enter the next phase, which makes them not just faster but also introduce new attacks. Soldier Rocker, Hazmi, Jupiter King, Iron Nakana are good examples of bosses that require you to not mess up because of the amount of attacks they throw at you, making it stressful at times because you have to dodge and shoot. And I swear to God, the amount of times you die to these guys will make it so you can make a fucking staircase to heaven with all the corpses used from the amount of deaths you got from these guys. And it would even seem impossible to beat some of these bosses without dying at least once. But remember, Rome was not built in a day, and with enough practice of learning their attack patterns and dodging it and saving bombs, you would eventually beat the boss without dying. Trust me, one step at a time. Also, I want to take a moment to appreciate the soundtrack to this game. It is absolutely amazing. A majority of it is uplifting military themed music that really gets you pumped up during the levels. Sprinkled with some jazz and rock, which makes it amazing to listen to. Sometimes though, the music in the game will take a step back to complement the environment that you're going through. Like in X, when you're going through an ancient pyramid full of mummies, not only do you hear instruments from the Middle East, but also some vocals. But to be honest, my personal favorite out of the entire series will have to be Interstation because it's a little of everything while also being very high energy. You want to hear something funny? I hadn't even mentioned half of the stuff yet, like the characters, story, transformations, different routes, and end sequences. It just really goes to show to how big an arcade game could be. And if you look past the frustration this game causes and just enjoy its content, you'll see a challenging, comical arcade running gun with a unique charm and also high replay value. Seriously though, if you're gonna play any of these games, I highly recommend you limit the amount of credits to 10. If you're starting, of course, because if you're to play any of these games with infinite credits, it sort of crumbles the whole replay value that this game has, since you just keep dying and respawning like if nothing ever happened. I made this video not because I thought it would be an interesting topic, but because it's always nice to look back and remember these iconic arcade games and how they brought joy to many people across the world. Even though they're very simple and very easy to get accustomed to with the controls, they can also bring many hours of great fun. And it's always best to look back on those times back then where games were very limited to how far they could go, but how far they could also push it with the hardware that they had at the time. If you plan on getting any of these games, I highly recommend you get Anthology for the PS4 because it comes with 7 games, 1 through 6. And yeah, I know what I said. 2 and X. Sure, they're the same, but you know what? I still count them as separate. Even though in the beginning I counted them as the same, but ignore that. Get ready to pick up any of these games and have hours of enjoyment. And remember to have fun. Later.